Hi everyone, I'm Sandy. Welcome to Barsan Homestead.
Good morning, I'm Barney.
We just want to share with you how we came to be off-grid. It was years ago that was our goal, that we really wanted to be off-grid. And when we say off-grid, we don't mean Little House on the Prairie style off-grid, candles and, that kind of thing.
Buckets for water.
Buckets and water and hauling your water in and hauling your water out, although we've had to do that here a little bit. Our intention was to have all the services that we're accustomed to, that most people are accustomed to, because that's wonderful. Our idea of being off-grid is as being off the system and not having an electricity bill every month or every second month, however it worked out.
Yeah. When we first came to this little 40-acre property that we got, I think we bought it in September 22.
We did.
And we didn't get to move here right away. We actually moved to our property here in April 2024. And when we did, we had been in working a little bit previous so we could actually get onto the property because there was no road. And we've got some videos of our all the work we've done so far, where we picked out our spot for the house and then we put the laneway in and we pushed the trees over, and you'll see log decks in our videos and stuff like that. And that's from the laneway, the house site, the garden site, the sea can site, and our little gravel pit that we exposed and we used for a lot of our laneway, all of our laneway so far actually.
Before we got here, as Barney was mentioning, there was a lot of work done, but one of the things we wanted to do was get our garden ready. So it was fall when we got the property, and so after Barney got the trees cleared and all piled and all of that, we made a site that we wanted for our garden, and so we spent quite a bit of time rock picking and stick picking, and then we hauled in 42 loads of like a peat moss, topsoil type material.
Really nice.
Plus bull manure, and we hauled in a couple loads of sand. And we rototilled it all, got it all mixed, and the garden was then ready for the following spring, which would have been 2023. And Barney also that same year, the first year that we had it in 2022, is he dug a small dugout so that we would have water the following spring in which to water our garden with.
Right. And we actually went at setting the garden up first so that when we were here to be building on our house and everything else, the infrastructure, that the garden could still be growing. We got it in, as Sandy said, and then we put a fence around it because we have a lot of game here. And we were the garden grew. We've had the garden. This is our third year for the garden now.
Yes. Yeah.
And so the garden grew the first year when we weren't even here. It grew the second year, and now we're here and it's growing again this year, and it's doing very well.
We just had to band up our lumber that Barney had cut the last fall to get it ready to be shipped up to the property. And you can see the logs in the background. They also had to be moved.
Here Sandy and I are wrapping up the little sawmill and getting it all folded up for shipping. And we hauled it up inside of our cargo trailer. And that just fits in there.
So again, there's some things that don't fit in sea cans, and we just had a couple loads of odd things that needed to go up to the property. And so we borrowed a trailer from a friend, and we were so glad to have that. It was so helpful.
We're up at the property here, and our friend also borrowed us his backhoe, so we had it at the house end to unload, or the property end. And where we were moving from, we had our backhoe down there to load. The little backhoe of our friends were great for moving the lumber around and stuff like that.
We used Old Blue to haul multiple loads of logs and the firewood slabs left over from sawmilling.
Yeah, we also used it for hauling that cistern up to the property. The dump deck is sure nice for unloading when you can.
We needed a roof, an immediate roof, and so we bought a coverall type building to go over the 2 sea cans. We bought it from a friend of ours, and him and his cousin came up to help Barney and I to put the framework up, and then Barney and I took some time later and put the cover on, and that's actually where we had the camper for the winter.
Another friend of ours brought up this culvert that was 3 feet in diameter by 10 feet long, and it snowed this day, so it worked out very well because it was getting pretty dry. I cut it in half to 5 feet long, and now the backhoe is digging the hole for us here to install it in there to be the pit underneath our outhouse. There it is, all finished. See it? 5 feet. Call for help. Call for help. I don't think it's going to squish very much or settle very much. Pretty hard. Which is good.
Part of it got filled up by hand. Barn did the majority. I just did a little bit there. Now it's time to do the rest with the backhoe.
Here I am just bringing in some gravel for the actual treated lumber of the outhouse to sit on. So we're making a base for the shed to sit on here. I think it wound up about 4 to 6 inches deep of gravel.
This is our little foundation pad for the outhouse to sit on. It's just raked flat, and Barn's just moving the outhouse, and it was a little tricky to get it in there because we wanted it to be in between some trees and make it look like it had been there for a while.
Yeah.
So
we built it there, I guess, eh?
It was a little challenging to get it in, and it took a few times to go back and forth, but in the end it got there. This is a bit of a before we put the sidewalk in, just to give you an idea.
Sandy cut away all the roots and stuff like that, and you see the pile of debris around, and so it's ready for the sand. There is the sand, all laid out sort of in the contour that we want for the sidewalks to go in, so you can kind of enter it from any direction.
We went and got stone from, there's a place beside the road that you can just pick up stone. And we got a couple pickup loads full. And the two of us just worked, we actually did this in just a couple of hours. the part that you're seeing here, we previously had done the left of Barney over there. We had done that the night before.
It actually made a nice little sidewalk, and our sand bed there is about 4 or 5 inches deep. And then after we have them all placed, to the left where Sandy was talking about, that we put 3/4 minus, or they call it road mulch, road topping. We put that on in between the rocks to kind of hold them in place, and it actually packed in there. We're going at it like a couple of gophers here, fitting these rocks in though. The hammer and the chisel laying there worked very well on these flat rocks. If they had an edge that was too high, you could tap away on it there and they split pretty darn good. But we had to stop for a little coffee time here.
We were really happy with our sidewalk, how it turned out.
We want to say thank you to everyone who's came by to watch our videos, and thank you to all of our subscribers.
We hope we see you again in the next video. God bless. Bye.
Bye for now.